So you said you have one clear call, which is for the president to resign. But how does him resigning solve all of the corruption problems? Constitutionally, of course, the vice president steps up when the president is unable to carry out his duties. How does that fix our problems?
It does not fix the corruption problem, but it goes directly to the heart of accountability. There is a widespread belief that the president is involved in the insertions. Rightly or wrongly, there is a significant section of the population that believes that. And as the recent surveys indicate, there is an 82% there is an 82% of the number of those surveyed who think that there is corruption. There is a lot of corruption in government. That speaks of a depleted goodwill on the part of the president being the chief executive. Because as I've said, he can choose to trudge on, but he will have to govern with a much depleted political base, a crisis of credibility, and a radically reduced political capital with respect to these things.
Right, but again, when you talk about accountability, even the vice president has issues of accountability, right? As we all just saw at the start of the year. In fact, I was joking to somebody that we feel like quasi-lawyers because we started off the year talking about impeachment. Then it became the International Criminal Court. And now we're ending the year talking about the flood control investigation. But the point being that, I mean, the whole point that she was impeached by Congress is over accountability, right? So again, how does that fix things, calling for the president to resign?
Well, with respect to that the evidence seems to indicate, without the impeachment, let's not go into the impeachment, because the impeachment is a political action on the part of the legislature as a means of a check and balance on the executive. But speaking outside of the impeachment, there appears to be a paucity of evidence for such accountability. In fact, the Commission on Audit has already cleared the Vice President of that. So, of course, it doesn't mean that she will not be impeached or she cannot be impeached, because it's a totally different matter. But between a widespread flood control controversy costing the government billions, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of pesos, and a issue of confidential funds, which is nebulous at best, of course, the accountability, the guilt is more prevalent under the leadership of this government, because the vice president can only do so much. She can only have access to so much funds, and the funds to which she has access have properly been accounted for. And I'm not the only one saying this. A lot of people are saying this from a legal standpoint.
I don't know that he was properly accounted for.
We are going to accountability because, number one, as the president said and admitted, he has read all 4,000 plus pages of the GAA for 2025, and yet he has seen no insertions, only to backtrack and say that there are now insertions. Number two, the leaders of Congress that have made these insertions are, well, let's not be coy about it, handpicked by him. That is his first cousin, the Speaker, who has also handpicked Saldico as chairman of the Committee on Appropriations. So, you know,
but
as between two people, who is the most prone or the most deserving of accountability? So that we have to weigh at these things.
Sir,
now,
I think,
if he doesn't want to resign, of course, that is always the prerogative of the president, and we will always respect that.
Sir, I think you're referring to the unmodified opinion released by the COA of the Vice President, but that's only a formatting issue. There's no decision yet by the COA to withdraw or to withdraw the notice of disallowance against VP Sara for 70 plus million in confidential funds. That's still pending, sir. The unmodified opinion does not have to do with the specific receipts being questioned by the COA, and also, sir, we're not looking at an unmodified opinion by the resident auditor of COA. The confidential funds are audited by a special unit of COA, which is the ICFAO, the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Auditing Unit. And that's the one that issued the notice of disallowance. So it's
Hindi pa
medyo
na-resolve.
apples and oranges, sir.
Oo. It's, let's not conflate things. So she hasn't been cleared of the use of confidential funds, in short. Even the Supreme Court decision on the impeachment, diba, did not render a decision on the rightness and
Not on the merits,
on her guilt on the merits of the case. It was just rendering it based on the procedure that that Congress followed. So
Well, whatever it may be, no criminal charges have been filed in connection with these funds. With respect to the flood control funds, criminal charges have started to be filed, and they have just started investigating around 100 or so days.
We
But,
understand, sir.
it's not really a matter of, quantity, who is more guilty or not, or whatever. The thing is, the president is the chief executive. At least by command responsibility, the buck stops with the president. That is why we have that reason for our call. Now, if people do not subscribe to our appeal or to our reasoning, of course, we will always respect that. We are a democratic society. Sabi ko nga, walang pilitan.
Yes, sir.
Pero what must be done at this point is to satisfy the people that something is being done. And if that does not happen, of course, we can reach 2028, but we are like a heavily damaged ship that is limping to shore. Our stock exchange is the worst performing in the world.
Right.
At pandemic levels.
Attorney-
The peso is at 60 to $1, etc., etc. So these are effects of a lack of confidence that has to be addressed immediately.